beta rebuild, just beating up on new players. That'd be fun.
He is just smacking people around.
Welcome to the player's voice.
Valley Club Update 8.0 is officially here. Mercs for Money, Spider Society are both on the way. What other changes can we expect for this next patch? Professor X has been officially announced as the next character or Dark Dimension 8. Did this announcement come too soon? And we have a new season of Cosmic Crucible next week. What do you need to do to get prepared right now? We're discussing all of these things and more in this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. This week, I'm joined by Brother DorkyDad. And if you're ready for all of this stuff and more, Brother Dorky, let him know what to do.
Let's go smash it.
And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin. This is DorkyDad, and this is your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update, discussing everything that has happened over the past week and that is coming up very soon in Marvel Strike Force. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content, at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on the channel, news videos like this, question and answer videos, review videos, everything to help your experience in Marvel Strike Force. But it has been a while, DorkyDad. You've been on a nice trip. How has your time in Marvel Strike Force been over the past week or so?
It's been, you know what? At the end of every Crucible season, I have this like lull where I'm just like, I don't care. Gonna take this week off because I know next week, the first week of season 7, I'm gonna be like really active, really theory crafting. So this week I'm kind of chilling.
Nice. Yeah, this has been a really weird Crucible season for me. We're gonna discuss that a little bit more. But you know what happened that I'm not sure if I like?
What's that?
We got a new update, and which is fine. I don't like these new patch notes though, Dorky. I like the OTA changes. I like that there's no like long maintenance. But where the heck is the hype level? You know, we're getting a lot more blog posts, but yeah, nothing about the new characters, nothing hyping the new characters, nothing about this. All we have is new in this release. 33 new Alliance icon improved Alliance icon selection screen. Is that the big change arriving in update 8.0, Dorky, or you suspect there's some other things coming?
It depends how cool these icons are, I guess, right? Right? There'll probably be 33 different kinds of Spider-Man icons, I would assume.
Ooh, yes, all kind of things from the Spider-Verse. Yeah. Now, this is 8.0. This is not 7.7, 7.8. This is a major change, and major changes have come with these new versions. War has brought on with this, Crucible, real-time arena. What is the major change? Is it really these Alliance icons that's bringing these new changes to Marvel Strike Force for a new version to be released?
No, when there's a new version and they're jumping up a number on the left side of the decimal point, it normally means something big is coming. Well, we already have Trial Scourges built into the game there. We already kind of have Dark Dimensions and that sort of thing. So I'm thinking this is going to be the other game mode that they were talking about, hyping up 6 months ago.
World? The Battle World? Do you think it's coming in 8.0, 8.1, 8. Sometime in 8, or is it 8.0 that we're gonna be seeing Battle World, or the start of Battle World?
I don't think so. Not anytime soon. I'm thinking probably around 8.2 or 8.3. I'm thinking it's going to be either the beginning of summer or the end of summer is when we'll see the first Battle World. I hope anyway, because I'm super pumped for it.
Did they have a timeline and when they wanted it? I know they said sometime in 2024. Did they have an exact timeline?
No, I don't think we're given any sort of timeline. Maybe it'll happen December 31st. Maybe it'll happen 2025. Maybe happen 2026 when we all get Professor X. Yes. Who knows when it's going to come? But I think this is indicative of it's on its way.
Yeah. All right. So we got a new splash screen as well. And we always get new splash screens when new versions are released. This one features some characters that we know about already. The Spider Society. Penny is there. Peter B. Parker's there. Spider-Man India is there. We also see Deathpool, who should be a part of this Merc for Money team, probably getting a rework with it. PANDAPOOL, and then the costume for, what is it, Deathpool? Gosh, I'm forgetting her name. And obviously Professor X, which we're going to talk about. What has you most hype on this splash screen? Is it the pandas? Is it the spiders? Is it Professor X sometime a couple years later when most players are going to get this unlocked? What has you most hyped about this splash screen?
Well, after playing with the Spider Society, I can firmly tell you I'm not exactly pumped or excited for them. Professor X, now that he's been announced as a Dark Dimension on top of the year-long story, it makes me think it's probably going to be, 2 years before a lot of people see him. Spenders maybe a few months sooner. So I guess if I had to pick, I'm most excited about the Deadpool team because I like Deadpool. I think there'll be a funny story. We know that the legendary character is associated with that team, so that's going to be fun. It looks like it might be Old Man Logan based on a different splash screen for Professor X. Yeah. And the fact that Deathpool is here, it could just be they're showing off the new nice skin from the anniversary. But there's 3 characters from the same team on the left side. Maybe there's 3 characters from the same team on the right side here. Deathpool is the daughter of Deadpool, so maybe we're going to get even more use out of our Deathpool, original Scopely character. They like to keep them fresh. Maybe she'll make it onto the Deadpool team. That'll be cool.
All right, so we got 2 reworks right now. We did, at the time that we got this team announced, we had Deadpool in some rewards. Domino was also in the rewards. Normally there's 3 new characters, 2 reworks on this. If these are the same team, does this mean Domino is out? And if not, is there another character that might get a rework on this team?
I hope to God Domino is out. She is a very boring, kitted character. I don't think there'd be any way to make her fun on the team, so I hope she's out. Deathpool has like a buff spread, a one-shot hit mechanic. The pings on deaths, I think she'd be a much more interesting character. I do think there's going to be 3 new characters. I think PANDAPOOL was obviously voted in. I think whatever the legendary character is, and then another new character.
Let's just say it's Old Man Logan because the tease that they gave us. Let's just say that for now.
Yeah, it could be Old Man Logan, which I think would be cool. And then maybe another Deadpool variant, or I don't know what else it would be then. Maybe the other character from the Logan movie. I forget his name. Not Professor X, but the other one.
X-23.
Sure. Kid
she got a rework. She already got a rework. Yeah. She's not very good yet, though.
I was thinking about the guy at the dome, the bald guy. But yeah. It could be another interesting Deadpool variant is probably what it's going to come down to.
All right. Well, what I'm hoping happens in update 8.0, you see this red dot on the inbox. So I guess let me take off my camera so you can see this inbox. There's a red dot here. There's one that I haven't claimed this, but this one should be gone. So Dorky, do you think that they'll finally remove that inbox dot that's been there for about a week when update 8.0 drops? Or when it drops for everybody, because it has this kind of like tiered rollout depending on your device.
Yeah, I hope so, because red dots are the bane of my existence. I have to click on them. The fact that our supplies already have like tens of thousands of red dots like yours has up there drives me insane. But the extra one in the inbox has me clicking it because I'm like programmed to click on that to either collect rewards or to see what the message is. And I click it all the time and I'm always stuck.
Now, there's another bug that people were having issues with, Facebook error logging in. I heard that got fixed, but I heard on chat this morning that it's still going on. What have you heard about this Facebook error? Do you know if people are still experiencing it, or is that like a limited time thing that people have issue with?
I think it's pretty limited because I just logged into my account that is with Facebook and I didn't have a problem. I know that Facebook has been getting attacked a lot lately from like on the Facebook side of things. So I think it's probably a safety precaution that when that's happening, they just kind of break that connection. Gotcha. Whether that's necessary or not, I don't know. Whether it's in their control or not, I don't know. But it does seem to be on the Facebook side of things, not on the Scopely side.
Gotcha. It seems like it's always on somebody else's end and not on the Scopely end for some reason.
For this case, we can actually Google it and we can see on Twitter like Facebook attacked by blah blah blah. So
not Verizon or T-Mobile's fault this time. It's Facebook's fault this time.
Yeah. Okay. The Verizon T-Mobile one is kind of questionable. Little questionable on those ones.
I think Purple Sticky had a good thing here. This red dot on the inbox is to prepare us for the big gift that should be arriving earlier, DorkyDad.
Yeah.
I am super hyped for that. All right, but let's talk about the next reward. You mentioned this already. Dark Dimension 8 Professor X, the new Age of X. Now, we did get a little tease of this last week. There was a call on this, and they did not specifically say this. Ending with the release of Dark Dimension 8, where players can unlock Professor Xavier as a reward in 2025 or 2026, depending how much of a spender you are. What did you think of this when it was announced? I did not get the impression that this was a Dark Dimension reward. I thought Dark Dimension would be separate from this. Did you get that impression when we had that call and this would be the reward? And Were you surprised if not?
I was surprised when I read this saying Dark Dimension 8, because when they said Age of X, we all thought similar to Age of Apocalypse, but they gave us a lot of caveats. They said agency wouldn't be affected. It wasn't going to be an Apex team. So the legendary characters would build into the story, but they would be separate from Professor X. And we're all like, okay, cool. So it sounds like we're getting Age of Apocalypse, but no sagas, right? No, you have to build this character. That's what we thought.
Yes.
Now they're doing a Dark Dimension 8 instead. And that terminology means a lot to us players. So if the Dark Dimension 8 is opening in 2025, that means a lot of players, presumably, we're not going to have the gear ahead of time like we did for Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be another year after that, because the Age of Apocalypse, it had its flaws, but it did have a very big strength, which is that the whole time it was a story building up to Apocalypse. During that year, we were getting ISO 4s. We were getting a bit of ISO 5s. Did we unlock Apocalypse right away for every single player? No. Mid-spenders got the base form of Apocalypse right away, and a few months later, the big boy part. So that's what we had thought Professor X was going to be. We thought, okay, the big spenders will unlock him early 2025, and then a few months later, the mid-spenders, and then a few months after that, the free-to-play will get him, at least at like a base version or something like that. Well,
I may be remembering this wrong. Did we specifically ask if this was a Dark Dimension character? I believe they said no. This is not a Dark Dimension character, because I think that question was asked. Do you think that was changed, or I just misinterpreted what they were saying?
I remember something like that being asked, but I think it was more along the lines of, well, Dark Dimension is kind of relegated for villain characters, so this would be like this would be a different thing. But there was no wording like this would be the Dark Dimension format. So I was very confused and very taken back by this. I don't like this, but I understand what they might be doing. This is so that, they didn't announce Mephisto. They had legendary events, and we got hints of Mephisto, and then Mephisto showed up halfway through. And that's when we knew, oh, we're in a story about Mephisto. So I think they want to spell it out for players like, hey, this is a story about Professor X. Then they could use that for marketing to bring in other players, returning players, that sort of thing. And then there's no question about what the storyline is from Marvel Strike Force. It's not just a game you log in, do a couple mindless battles, log out, nothing to attach yourself to. So I get why you would do something like this, but for us veteran engaged players to then say on the other end, oh, it's going to be Dark Dimension 8, that means a lot to us. It means a long time for us. So it takes a lot of the hype out of Professor X.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about this on chat. I think this is an announcement for like 10 to 20 players, not for the rest of the players. This is for the people that are going to get through Dark Dimension 7 within the next few weeks, and they need something to chase, to look forward to. And this is for them. The majority of the players, this is not for us. And we'll get into the progress in Dark Dimension 7 in just a little bit, but let's go back to a little bit more about Professor X. It's going to be a new 7-mission event that they're launching called Age of X. There's no minimum requirements. And as far as his kit, they say that he's a true plug-and-play character designed to fit into any team. So this event should be pretty easy. I don't think we're going to get a lot of progress towards actual Professor X or any of this possible gear tier 20 or something that we might need for his thing. What do you think about him as a true plug-and-play character designed to fit into any team? Reminds me kind of it gives me thoughts of kind of what they're trying to do with Leader, but a lot better. Make him have synergy with all villains, not just Cabal members. But how do you think it's going to be all heroes or all mutants? What do you think they're going to do with this? And honestly, I don't think they have his kit design yet. I think they're still working on this. So it's just all prediction and speculation at this point.
Yeah, so as a plug-and-play character, I don't see him coming in as some sort of like blaster like Skrull or the regard like that. I kind of see it more as something interesting like Apocalypse. Apocalypse special, it gives safeguard to a couple characters, I think the highest damage, gives them defense up, immunity, all that kind of stuff. I imagine he's going to come in and do that as a blanket ability, that sort of ability to his team. And so I do think it'll be a much better version of, if you consider Leader a plug and play character, but I think Professor X will be that, but like times 3.
Yeah, because he's a legendary. Not even like a Dark Dimension character. So they have to be levels above a normal character. So I just think he'd be kind of like a Leader, but levels above Leader.
Yeah, with a much smaller forehead. Yeah.
Normal size forehead.
Yeah.
Now, one of the questions I got on chat is this actually creating negative hype? Is this actually announced too soon? It's like, man, I'm not going to get him in the beginning of 2025. I'm going to get him at the end of 2025 or early 2026 because nobody is through Dark Dimension 7 right now. And we're getting the announcement through Dark Dimension 8. Beta Ray Bill is about 46% through. He did say on chat this morning that he's going to get through Global and Cosmic tonight, and he's just a few pieces away from Legendary. This looks very, very challenging. I think he's right around here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, right. So he got these last 3 nodes, and he's onto these legendaries, and then these 2 mythic sections that look challenging. How long do you think until he's done? Another week? Another few days? When are you predicting him to be done?
I would think a week max. I think the opportunity, if you have like an endless supply, or not, I don't want to sound jaded. I think there has been enough ample opportunity for big spenders to be able to get everything they need to enter each section. Now, if you go to the initial nodes, I think he already used some mythic characters, right? Like I think he used Apocalypse and Scroll.
He just pushed through this. Look, he just pushed through it. He did say on node 3, this is almost impossible without Super Scroll. He did bring, if you look at his attack, he did bring in Super Scroll for this attack on node 3. He said node 3, impossible without Super Scroll. So I guess you could kind of battle your way through the first 2 nodes, but you don't want to mess around with node 3.
Yeah, but so it sounds like he does have some characters ready for the other sections. So I think it's just a matter of he's going to get through the nodes. He's not going to waste too much cores busting through it for no particular reason. And then probably by the end of next week, he'll be in and out.
All right. And what about yourself? I know you're on the higher end of the spenders. You have a larger account. When do you think you're going to enter? Not when do you think you're going to done. How long before you even enter? And that's just those first 5 characters.
Oh, that's a good question. Right now, it's about collecting gear and then kind of getting the scope of the landscape.
Do you have any characters done?
No, nothing equipped.
Okay,
but gear collected for sure. I would imagine probably within a month and a half, 2 months, we'll be eyeballing the first 5 characters to bring in because we don't want to jump the gun for sure.
Yeah.
Scroll is going to come. Apocalypse is going to come. I knew those 2. I have a very strict standard for Dark Dimension. Is I do not bring in cheap characters because they're cheap, and I do not build in the order of the traits unless I am ready to enter that trait. So there's no point in me building city characters only for the first section because once I beat city, then I'll be sitting there staring at global for a month anyway. So what's the point?
So my plan was to build up Apocalypse, Skrull, Black Knight right now, and then the rest wait right till before I enter. Are you doing something similar, or just are there certain other characters that you are expanding that to?
No, yeah. So those 3 characters are definitely a lot of no-brainer giver kind of characters. I think there's others as well. I think Nightcrawler makes that list. Void Knight makes that list. I'm actually not sold that Robbie makes that list. But he probably does just because City's going to be one of the first.
And he's not very expensive. He's not very expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Characters. I think Robbie the cost. Now the other thing I'm doing, I'm not equipping any red gear, but some of these characters that do take teal pieces in some of their uniques. Examples, Kang. Kang has some teal pieces here that he takes. I'm equipping all the teal pieces on some of these characters, but I've equipped no red. Are you doing something similar as well for some teal pieces for other characters?
Yeah, especially like I see you got Kestroda, you did a couple on Icarus. So some of these characters that I'm going to use, every single Crucible, every single war, the teal pieces are 100% equipped. Yeah.
Oh, Black Knight. Yeah, Black Knight takes teal on these big ones here on the left side.
On the damage side. Nice.
Yeah, that's the big one. All right, and jumping onto the test server, brother Dorky, let's talk about the Spider Society, the new skill raid team. I was hyped for this team. I like the Spider-Verse movie. I need a skill raid team, but I think the community is right. There's a lot of spiders in the game right now. We've had Hive Mind before that. We've had Sinister 6 / Superior 6. Now we got Spider Society. A lot of spiders in the game. The other pushback from the community about this is they don't really fit the skill category. I'm just happy that there's a skill solution, even though thematically this isn't the best choice. What is your take on this team? As far as their announcement and their role as a skill solution in the raids?
Well, let me touch on their solution in the raids right now to start off. I think Scopely set the status quo that raid teams work at a minimal investment. So like when Bifrost came out, when Pegasus came out, when Extreme, when Hivelight came out, if you had the new characters at 3 yellow, 3 red, around gear tier 17, you were rocking and rolling in the highest difficulty of raids. With this slider, because what they did with the slider basically was jack up the resistance of the team, the Spider Society team is it's a huge leap from what the status quo of a new raid team used to be. So at gear tier 17, 4 red star, 3 red star, they're gonna really struggle to land their debuffs, especially Penny Parker, who's the most important member. You're gonna need her as a skirmisher if you're on a free to play / cheap to play landscape. Like right now, you might land it because you're gear tier 18, level 100. 5 red stars.
Gold stars. Is that going to be enough? I mean, I did my playtest. It wasn't that great. I wasn't that impressed with them.
Yeah. So like, I think you're going to need to put Skirmisher on Penny. I think that's going to be a very important part of the team. Okay. So I'm not too impressed with how they function in the raids, but I think they also have said that they're trying to pull away from the speed meta. And all the other raid teams, you think Hive Mind, the Extreme, they're all speed based. And I think they built the last section, the skill section, to counter the speed based invader team. So if this is them, we might have to suffer with the Spider Society a little bit here until we get them built up really big and we put Skirmisher on them, then they're going to be fine. They'll destroy the raid then, right? But then maybe the next raid tier, it's going to be a lot more strategy based, a lot more kill order, very particular on which ISOs you have and which characters, kind of inject more of the this is how you raid, not this is the team you need to buy to raid kind of aspect. And I think that would be good for the raid game mode as it is right now.
One of the things that Dev said is that a lot of the issues in the raids, their reliability in the raids, especially the reliability sim, is coming from Ghost Spider. Now we don't have these reworks fully in the test server yet. Right now is still, she needs to crit to get that ability block. That is getting taken out. She's just going to land that ability block, and then her ultimate is going to be unblockable, which should help some reliability landing the rest of the effects that she's spreading. What was your results as far as a test server? The first 2 nodes are very easy. The boss node is where this team struggled, but of course they were built at this big level. So what was your experience in a test server? Did you build your Spider Society a lot bigger than this? Were you able to clear that boss node? Was it gameplay, or were you able to just auto through this? So what was your experience on the test server? So at first I started trying to do a 3 red 3 yellow. It was an instant fail on node 2, getting resist on the stuns and the trauma from Penny, which was unfortunate. Then Firestar would one-shot people. So I bumped them up to 4-star, and then they beat the second node, but then they got crushed on the boss node. And then I built them up to 5 stars, gear tier 17 at level 100. And with the proper ISOs, I was able to get through it. And I will say, they're right about Ghost Spider. And now that her special and her ultimate are now going to be unblockable. Yeah. Now that she is going to do that, and she is spreading insane bleeds, and you're going to want her as a striker anyway for her blinds, she is a racing team. So she is the Gambit, for lack of a better word, of the Spider Society team. She will carry you with the damage. So it's great that she's the rework. All right, and what about this team in Crucible? I did not participate in the playtest, just got a little too busy with real life stuff. I know you did participate in that. What was your experience with the Spider Society in Cosmic Crucible? As a unit, not great. But, well, there is the raid on Crucible room, right? So they're a good raid team. They're the new raid team. They get demolished. That's this next season, though. Are they still going to have any value after that? Because Bifrost was pretty good in Crucible for that one season, right? Yeah, no. I think this is going to be a big spender is going to look at this team and say, maybe that'll throw a curveball to some of my Crucible opponents. And Pegasus demolishes them. Bifrost demolishes them, but they beat Hive Mind, so that's good. That's about it for them. Where would you compare this team to in Crucible? Which raid team would you compare it to? Like Invader level of value in Crucible, or Extreme X-Men level, or somewhere in the middle? As far as the raid team hierarchy goes, Bifrost and Pegasus are tied at 1 and 2. They could kind of beat each other, and they could beat everything else. Then it would be Extreme, Spider Society would be really close, and Hive Mind would be last. Okay, so this is like not so. As far as their raid bonuses in Crucible, this is kind of a middle tier team.
Yeah, I would say so. But I do think there's going to be potential for Puvitra, sorry if I butchered that, as he does spawn with speed up in all game modes, and then he has some interesting slow mechanics that he could do. So I think there's some plug and play potential for him. Noir obviously has plug and play potential in the Crucible. He is part of the Tangled Web team, and now that he does a little bit more damage, maybe he'll actually be used on that team. Who knows? Stranger things could happen.
Maybe. Or just keep pairing him with Secret Defenders.
Yeah, or keep pairing him with Secret Defenders.
Maybe.
and Ghost Spider's rework, she does a lot of damage now too. So if we can get her some use, that'd be pretty dope.
All right, so as far as their use outside the raids, better or worse than Invaders?
Well, Nick Fury is pretty good. we'll say better. We'll say better because every other character
better as a whole, but Nick Fury is better than any of these characters.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Okay, that's fair. All right, and speaking of Crucible, the latest team in Crucible right now dominating, if you haven't built big enough, is Cabal and the newest member, Leader. How big of a difference did he make in this week of Cosmic Crucible for you?
So I have two accounts. I have a spender account and a free-to-play account.
Okay.
On the free-to-play account, I have accepted that I will not win Crucible this week or until I get the Cabal team unlocked, because they are able to one-shot some of the most difficult teams that until they existed could not be one-shot except for very risky mirror matches. So they are that impactful. On my spending account, I use them to do a 1.2 million punch up into a Skrull Secret Defender team, in which Namor killed everybody with his ultimate, like people that had 75% life. Namor said, "Go into the sea, I wash you away," and they were just gone. So I really like the Cabal team. I'm super excited to be using them because I think they don't flex to defense very well, so they're more offense oriented. But if you don't have them and somebody else you're facing does have them, you're at a huge disadvantage.
So one of the big things with this team, one of the big fears is that you need to break up other teams, break up Masters of Evil for this team to work. I've used Kang with these guys in every single battle of Crucible this week. I've paired the fifth with Titania and sometimes with Super Skrull. What are you using? Is this a team that stands on their own, or do you have to break up a previous meta team like Masters of Evil for them to work?
No, this team 100% stands on its own. I would only break up Masters of Evil or put someone like Apocalypse or Skrull if my opponent put up some sort of super huge mega team where it was like Black Knight with Skrull and Apocalypse and yada yada yada. So only if my opponent did that would I break up my Masters of Evil for this. With my Cabal, I put Archangel with them and I put Emma with them, and I was able to beat the Secret Defender Skrull team on that big a punch up. And then fast forward till yesterday, it was like a zombie Juggernaut, Skrull. I think there was a Doom in there. Yeah, there was a Doom in there with a Dormammu. And I did the exact same team and crushed it. But that's just for this season. Next season, Vulture is going to be like a permanent fourth character with this team. Because Vulture, if there's any sort of hero, he's getting extra speed bar. He hits multiple people. He'll get a crit. He's faster than some of what you consider to be the fastest characters in the game into the right matchups. So Vulture is definitely going to be a permanent fourth with them. And then I'll probably continue using Archangel because his turn meter rewind was great. And those characters, they won't really have a place next season.
Yeah, and sometimes I still use them when someone pits the wrong team on defense, but I don't see that very much. Now let's get back to Leader, because he does have this unique passive that really synergizes with villains, kind of compared it to like a weaker version of what we were expecting, or what I'm expecting for Professor X. Does this villain synergy give him value outside of Crucible, outside of Cabal, or is this just kind of for theory crafting inside that game mode?
So I think it definitely does give value, but I think the Cabal team is good enough that you're going to want to use them as a three-piece anyway. Like when you use them in war, you're going to want to use it with Namor and Iron Patriot, because Patriot's giving out quick vulnerables to the entire team. Cabal is getting offense up from Namor. They're getting other buffs as well. So in war, I think they'll be a three-piece, and I think you'll find another two characters to slap with them to make them a very, very annoying team to deal with. So although he does have that synergy, and maybe we can explore that synergy in a mode like Sword Satellite on one of the last levels, for our everyday game modes, I think the Cabal team will stay as is.
All right, last but not least, this Gamma tag. People that don't have Apocalypse yet, maybe you're on your baby account.
Yep.
Who are you placing on the Gamma team? He does take this gamma radiation. It's the three other characters that take that. Red Hulk, you're not replacing. Hulk or Abomination, who gets these axe for you?
100% Abomination. Abomination gets the axe. He's a Crucible store farm, so that'll save me some Crucible credits. Hulk as an Avenger has a bunch of other uses for the baby account as far as certain campaigns go, game modes. The Red Hulk unlock, the Avenger tag is used there. So it'll be Abomination for sure. Now, that'll greatly weaken my baby account's Gamma team in War. I don't care. As a new account, like, War is not the thing to focus on. You could start looking at War as a mode that exists 2 years down the line because they don't give you enough ability materials to really enjoy War as a new player.
Gotcha, that makes sense. I didn't even think about the tag for Hulk with Avengers and everything like that. So that's a good call out on that. Let's talk about this event for this guy right here, Iron Patriot, because it could be very, very tight for free-to players to try to get this unlocked. So calculations on this, if you get to milestone 15 and you had the free claims from Friday, you need 10 more shards of Iron Patriot. Unfortunately, this orb that we have here is pretty crappy and they're not giving out a lot. I thought they would give out some of these orb fragments from spending ISO 8 energy. Pretty much the only place that you can get this is from the associated web milestones. So if someone gets the bare minimum drops, they are not going to unlock Iron Patriot. If you get some decent drops, you're fine. What do you think this is an oversight? They're getting stingy like this, or this was done on purpose?
This has to be an oversight. Iron Patriot, though an amazing character, though part of an amazing team, he's not Black Knight. Black Knight was the only character on the baby account that I was simply gated out of. I will not unlock Iron Patriot the way things are going right now. I've already collected that other 20 shards that you haven't collected yet. I opened up my orb. I got 1 shard. If I continue to get 1 shards, I think I'm 9 shards away from unlocking him right now. If that's all I get, I will not unlock him because that milestone 17, that is not within reach unless you spend. So I think this is a huge oversight. It has been brought up to them. They're aware of it. They're talking about it. We'll see what they do. If they do nothing, then that's bad. But the good news is, like, the new characters, they end up in a pass, a week or 2 after the release method. So you will unlock him if you're close enough, but it'll take a while, which sucks.
Yeah, they've been getting stingier and stingier in these unlock events. But like you said, they're including them in passes a lot earlier. Yeah. They're in other events. If we go to this event, I think we still had some Black Knight shards in there. As far as, or the previous event or something like that. They usually include these shards for other characters. Yeah, no Black Knight shards. I think it was the last one that I was thinking of that had the Black Knight in there.
Yeah,
it did. So they're including these more recent characters in these events for these characters. But yeah, these unlock events are getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, so I mean, if that's their intention, then as long as they communicate to us, like, hey, this isn't his only release method. When Leader comes out, there's going to be Iron Patriot shards sprinkled in there. If they let us know, then we wouldn't be, at DEF CON warning levels right now.
Yeah, I think as long as he's released before full team, or released free to play, so people get the full team around the same time, I think that's fine. And from what I hear about Leader, it might be a while before people get him unlocked free to play wise. This Allied Engines events. I mean, it seems like we're getting a lot of raid battles with our alliance with Hivemind. I think this is the 3rd in a row that we've had to battle with Hivemind in the raids.
Yep. I'm not mad at it. It's fine. You're going to use them every day, right? So it's fine.
Yeah, you got to do the raids. You're going to use Hivemind if you have them. So I guess, pretty easy, right?
Yeah, and as time goes on, we're getting them from passes, so people are actually getting Void Knight to 5, getting him to 6, so they're getting a little bit more points on it. So it's not bad. I mean, these events, we started yelling about this like a year and a half ago. The events not being free to play completable, that's just the way things are now. So, but the fact that we're getting down there and they're able to see those crimson gears, it is what it is.
Getting there. It's getting there. It's getting closer and closer for normal alliances. All right, and on stream, just a few short hours ago, reached level 100. Got some pretty good rewards. There is 500 power cores in the achievements for reaching level 100. Also got a few extra things here. But Dorky, I don't have a boosted account. I didn't get a bunch of extra stuff. What is the first thing you did when you reached level 100? Who are the first characters that you started to build up?
Well, just like our direct dimension talk, Skrull, Apocalypse, Black Knight, they all went up right away. And then I started my other favorite characters like Kang. If Cabal was out when I hit it, it would be Cabal, Kestrel, Nightcrawler, Gambit. So there's a lot of what I call the MVP characters. Like when they're on a team, what they do, they're normally the nuker characters, right? The damagers. Yeah. Those are the characters I run to and I level them up right away because the stat jumps from 95 to 100 are really good. But there's a lot of weight in that level 99 to 100 jump. I believe it's like a good 0.5% more stats overall from 99 to 100 than the others.
Are you building more for certain game modes, certain teams, or like you said, more for the damage dealers? What do you think is the best practice as far as leveling up your characters?
So I do build more for Crucible than I do for War, Raids, or Arena, unless I'm having a hard time in one of those modes. Luckily, there's lots of carryover in doing so.
And is that more for enjoyment or is there a strategic reason behind that?
It's more for enjoyment, but like I said, when you're doing the MVP characters, when I'm doing my Icarus, my Kang, obviously Apocalypse, Skrull, all that, I use them everywhere. They're important everywhere, but I'm always thinking like, okay, this matchup in Crucible will get better if this big character does the thing they need to do even bigger. So that's kind of what I think about. And then luckily there's lots of cross-pollination in such a strategy.
Yeah, it makes sense. And Dorky, there is less than 2 days left in this current season of Cosmic Crucible. I did not like this season. I got my butt kicked a lot. And there's a few different reasons that I think it may have happened. One, the level cap 100 hit during this season. I was not level 100, and I think a lot of my opponents were. I'm not sure if it was necessarily the rules, but the rules were very, bland, and you could use a lot of different teams, so a lot of different theory crafting. Black Knight also arrived during this season, which made things very tough. Yep. And then, as Juicy pointed out in his video about the reduction of all these points in Cosmic Crucible being destroyed every time we move down, and not any new points really being infused into the system, matchmaking has gotten very, very bad. So I'm not sure what has caused me to not enjoy this season of Cosmic Crucible. How did you enjoy this season, and why do you think a lot of people, not just myself, haven't been enjoying this season of Crucible? One of those things, all those things all together. What are your thoughts on this season?
Well, I hit rank 1 at a certain point this season, so I love this season. This is great. But I do think there was lots of whale appreciation that happened this season. So I think that weighs heavy on people who aren't whales, and they definitely felt it. Also, if you are a whale and you're facing other whales, then it becomes very frustrating, very, very tense, lots of anxiety in some of those matches. So I think that weighed on people a little bit. I think there were 2 rooms in particular that gave people a lot of problems. That would be rooms
4 gives me the problems. So.
Yeah. So taking the energy away. The problem with that is that a lot of the counters to Black Knight really only counter him when they can ult. So I think they did this ahead of time because Black Knight is just an absolute menace in that room. And then some of the other teams, they became very problematic there, right? So that room was kind of developed, in my opinion, for 2 different things.
I'm going to push back on you. I don't think they knew this. I don't think they did Black Knight in anticipation for this room. I think it's just a weird coincidence. I don't think they're playing 4D chess, but maybe they are. Maybe you're right and I'm wrong.
Maybe. So maybe they did make this room for the Hive Mind team who were released, right? Because they get the energy.
They did, because this was pretty fun before Black Knight, but then we got all that other stuff that happened all around the same time, and was like, oh, this is tough.
Yeah, but here's the good news. Because it was a shorter season, we get to move on to the next set of rooms that are probably going to be equally frustrating. It's already been announced there is a raid on Crucible room, which will be immediately figured out, immediately stale, unless subbing in somebody like Apocalypse or Skrull or something.
Let's just move on to the new rules. These are the global rules here. Yeah. You played this on a test server. I did not. Let me read this and you can give me your impression of this. Global rules are all about Cabal on defense and offense. Cabal with vulnerable successful hit, apply vulnerable up to a maximum of 5 when below 25% health, gain 200% extra damage. 200% extra damage, lower armor by 50%. So they're becoming a huge glass cannon at that point. Villain characters on turn, if Cabal characters are allies, barrier 10% max health, and on defense, all that normal stuff that they get, they're exhausted, all that stuff. What was your impression of these global rules? How dominant was Cabal with their season in place?
I couldn't tell you because they never got below 25%. things just die when you use Cabal on them. So yeah, I really couldn't tell you on that. That's going to be the same as what our current stage 1 was, when Gambit would get low and then he would annihilate your team. Did
your Cabal ever have vulnerable to apply vulnerable to the enemies?
No, everything was always dead. Everything
so none of this, so just Cabal just kills them too quick to even have these rules be effective.
Yeah, but here's the good news. If you have a free-to-play Cabal, maybe you will get to take advantage of these rules.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about these room by room. Obviously, I want to point to people to your video. You explain all this stuff a lot more detail. What are some of the challenges that you saw in 1, where striker characters, when ability blocks gain 50% more damage, raider characters on turn, if character has ability block, clear ability block, he'll suffer 10% of max health, and skirmisher characters on successful attack will apply ability block. Lots of ability blocks here.
Yeah, so this was a really interesting room, and it does dump traditional counters on their head, but in an interesting way. So the striker part, you can kind of ignore that. Mostly you're just going to be changing characters to raider or skirmisher. So this is the room that's going to cost you ions. They seem to be doing that every single Crucible season now. So it's going to be
it was room 1. It was room 1 before, right? With the striker and Echo. It was room 1 before.
Yeah, it was also room 1 this season as well, because it was turn all your characters to raider.
So it's always room 1, I guess. I guess that's the pattern.
That's
here.
it.
You figure it out, Dorky.
The ion tags room. But this I think this room is going to be fun, because there's going to be lots of theory crap between, hey, I have this AoE character that goes super fast and make him a skirmisher, he'll buy ability block to everybody. Then on the defensive end, you're going, hey, if this character doesn't have ability block from this traditional counter, then it'll mess everything up, right? So like the extreme team, if you make Forge a raider, then he can't be ability blocked. Well, that's going to change a lot of the counters to the extreme team, right? So there's a lot going on in this room, which makes it pretty interesting.
I didn't think of that. That's very, very good theory crafting there. Stage 2, raid on Crucible. This is the one. All characters room counts as raid, but lowering resistance and healing by 50%. This was what made Bifrost so bad. So it's kind of the Bifrost room with less resistance and healing. Did that lowering of the healing solve it enough to make it not horrible?
Well, I mean, the big problem was the resistance, right? And the Bifrost team gets 200% resistance. So taking off 50% is nice, but they really should have taken off 100%. And then healing by 50%, yeah, it helps a little bit, but it's nothing crazy. Pegasus and Bifrost, I think, are going to be the kings in that room. Bifrost will beat full Pegasus, but 4-piece Pegasus with a strong 5th character instead of Kestrel beats Bifrost. So there's going to be a delicate balance on how people figure that out.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, I just hope it's not as bad as a couple seasons ago with the Bifrost. I'm not sure what we're going to face with the Spider Society there. Stage 3, aggro on offense and defense. All characters on turn, if this character has taunt, gain offense up. On turn, apply assist now to all allies with offense up. Seems like a pretty vanilla room. I think there's going to be a lot of different options in this. Anything stand out to you with this room?
Well, you're going to be tempted to put a team like Superior 6 in there, right? Because they get offense up turn 1, or maybe Extreme X-Men. But here's the thing. Those teams, they get their offense up taken off, or they die before they get to do anything with the proper counters, right? So like for Superior 6, if you go in there with a Skrull Doom team, the enemy team actually doesn't take any turns before Skrull wipes the board with the Doom prop. So people will be baited into doing that. It won't really work out for them. So I would caution that. I do think it'll be an interesting room for other sort of matchups, though. So if you put a somewhat more underrated team in there, like you put an Apocalypse in there or Tangled Web in there, and they get offense up pretty early on, people might try a traditional counter, and then the assists now can mess with it. So I'm kind of on standby for this room. I agree with you. It's a little vanilla.
I think that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I do too.
All right, stage 4, unstoppable energy. On offense, defense, villain characters. Ultimate abilities cost 2 ability energy less and lower max health by 25%. So kind of that glass cannon effect as well, right? They're getting to use their abilities more, but they get less health and ability to die a little bit more. I kind of like this room. I think there's a lot of different things you could do with this room. Villain characters' abilities ultimate less. I immediately think of Doom. Is Doom used on offense, defense in this room, or used somewhere else?
So I think this might actually become a Skrull room. So I think between stages 2 and 4, You might have a raid team in 2. Of course, you have a raid team in 2. And then Skrull in 4. Because the old counter to Skrull ulting turn 1 was you bring in Doom and Apocalypse. And Apocalypse would make sure Doom didn't die. And then Doom would bring Apocalypse for the ride. But now that Doom will have 25% less health, maybe the Skrull ult will kill Doom no matter what. So then people got to bring Dorm in. It'll be a whole thing, which will be interesting to see how it goes.
Interesting.
It'll be like those Dark Dimension characters kind of at the helm there.
I still got to get used to clearing the revive once with the Superior 6 and the symbiotes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
On stage 5, offense, defense, all characters with blind lower that character's speed by 5%, armor by 25%. Ultimate abilities also apply blind to the primary target. Ooh, seems fun. Seems like there's a lot of theory crafting in this room as well.
Yeah, so you would think so, but this one, it feels like this one might default to our Infinity Watch room, just because they get immunity, they get safeguard, and then they can't be blinded. They do a couple blinds here and there.
They're like the cockroaches of Cosmic Crucible. They're always going to be on defense, no matter what the rules are. There's going to be a room that people replace Infinity watching.
Yeah, exactly. Because anything else you put in here, like the counter to it, like if you put Darkhold in here, then the new warrior team is going to come in and they ult and they'll put blind on everybody and ruin it. So I'd be interested to see what eventually makes it in here. This stage to me feels like the Infinity Watch room, but also maybe a team will come out during this season, like the Deadpool team, and maybe they'll fit well into this room.
Yeah, good point. And last but not least, Crossroads. On offense and defense, all characters on crit apply bleed to the primary target. If Ghost Rider Robbie, or Cosmic Ghost Rider is an ally and his character has bleed, gaining 20% additional armor, man, I just see this. If you have Mephisto, so there's be like 5 or 6 players that will utilize this room with Mephisto very, very well next season. And Cosmic Ghost Rider Robbie, and Cosmic normal Ghost Rider, all the Ghost Riders applying 20% crit chance to allies. What do normal people use in this room?
This might be where we put our out of time. If we have like a big Cosmic Ghost Rider, I don't find that does that much extra stuff having Cosmic Ghost Rider, but this could also be like your Robbie Reyes Secret Defender room. It doesn't really do much, right? Like it's just a little something. You hit the nail on the head with the hammer there. This is like your Mephisto room. Well, you throw Mephisto with your Ghost Rider Robbie and some fun characters. And like you said, there'll be 5 or 6 people. You'll be able to find them in the leaderboard at ranks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by the end of the season. And this is going to be their room. It'll be fun.
Hopefully the devs figure out the point system and those players that have Mephisto aren't all the way down to like gold 1 and having to face people there.
Beta Rebuild just beating up on new players. That'd be fun.
He is just smacking people around.
Welcome to the player's voice.
All right, and we get the final week of the 6th anniversary. This is a very good bonus event. This is a good chapter here. All these Teal uniques. You're probably done with it already in your big account. Did this help your baby account at all? Are you at the Teal level yet?
No, I was able to do chapter 1, nodes 1 and 2, and then node 3 on chapter 1 was impossible for my baby account. Just I'm capped on what my levels can go up to. I'm level 70 on the account now, and the damage just isn't there. Especially
some of the required characters. Gotcha.
Exactly.
How did you like this on your big account though? What did this affect? Were you able to get a few other characters that you weren't thinking about bringing up to gear 18? Or get some Teal gear on some newer characters?
Yeah, this is great. This let us put gear tier 18 on Iron Man Infinity War because of that INTOTHEAM. And then we farmed up some of the ones that we were lacking a little bit of, which has been very, very helpful. We're kind of preparing for the future, right? Hey, we're low on this one. This is a hotly demanded one. So your chromiums, your astral, your osmium, your alien spores, your molecular cloth, those sort of ones. Like we were low on that, we farmed them up.
I needed this stuff for Weaver because Noir because I wasn't prepared. Yes. That was the only one that I was like, I'm missing a lot of this stuff. I was not prepared for that Noir rework.
One of the new characters too, I think. One of the Spider Societies as well.
Oh, they're not in the game yet. I don't know. I didn't do that. But I know one of them takes this experimental formula.
Yeah.
And we have the final set of milestones as well. Pretty good rewards. This is probably better for newer players than end game players. Mm-hmm. What do you think of this rewards on your free-to-play account, your new account, and then your main account?
The main account is kind of whatever, right? But the free-to-play account, the anniversary event, the whole month has been really awesome. Like, I got Weaver for free. I got an extra star on Vol. I got Deathpool, an extra star on her as well. It's been great. The costume, I don't care about the costumes very much, but all the materials have been great. Picking up some ISO 5s and ISO 4s along the way, even though I'm nowhere near that level on the account yet, it's making me excited about the future. So I've been having a lot of fun with the event. I think it's been great for that category of player. The endgame players seem to be a little bit more concerned, but on the whole, I felt like we've gotten a pretty good haul this year.
Yeah, free stuff for endgame players, what I feel. And this costume, I'm excited for it. I know costumes are just cosmetic and no gameplay value, but this, I'm excited for this. What is it? Do you have any hype level for this, or it's just cosmetic stuff for you?
So I literally just said it's all cosmetic stuff. So when you pulled it up, I did feel like, oh, that's sick. So there are a couple costumes that get me. There's the Killmonger costume that gets me, the Magic costume that gets me, and now the Deathpool costume. It looks pretty dope. Oh, also the Invisible Woman costume, but that's for different reasons.
I like all the Mephisto costumes that they recently did as well, but yeah, this one's cool too.
I mean, I don't really like the Nova costume. He just looks like a Greg on fire. Some of them have been okay. Okay.
All right, and last but not least, a big 6-year anniversary gift. Now, Dorky, we've had it. It is going to be here today. It is March 28th as of us recording this. These are some things that we've gotten in the past. Year 5, we got in some dark promos. We got some gold and silver promo credits, 55 Captain Carter shards. So how big of a big gift does this gift have to be, considering that they have been hyping this for an entire month?
Well, let me tell you, if we get this exact same mill from last year, but they just slapped 6s on it, people will not be excited. People will not be excited about 6 million gold. They definitely won't be excited about 60,000 premium orbs or elite credits, or even the dark, like 600 dark promos won't take you nearly as far. I'm not sure which character they would have to choose for it to be hype level for the shards.
Knight. Give me some Black Knight shards. I would be excited, even if it's just 6 Black Knight shards. I'd be like, that's better than Captain Carter shards.
You know what? They did drop the ball on free-to-play lower count levels for Black Knight, especially those that didn't get boosted. So I would definitely welcome that. But as far as a big gift goes for it to be successful this year, I think the time for it has already passed. Honestly, I think if they wanted to do a big gift, we should have had polls running throughout the month, choosing certain characters. Then they would give you a resource and you could open up a certain amount of orbs, kind of like they do for Dark Dimension winners. I think that would have went over better. If we just get a handful of resources, I think people are going to be like, that was hyped for nothing.
So this is not the only thing they're doing, right? Obviously, we have the chapters, the week to week. We have the in-game milestones that they've updated every week. So this has been the most generous that we've gotten. When you look at it in totality, are people going to be upset if they just change it to 6 instead of 5s, though?
I think so, but it's because they hyped it up. The big gift, right? Like if they had just ended the month by throwing this out there and being like, hey guys, this is the end of the anniversary event. We want to thank you so much for playing with us over the years, and we look forward to playing with you again. If that was the message, not the big gift is coming, then I think people would have been like, that's super cool, super sweet of them. Thank you for the good anniversary month. And we would all move on with our day. The big gift, hyped it, you got to deliver on it, right? Like I can't tell my wife, yo, I got you an amazing gift, and then I get her like a new washing machine. I would be insulted. If I was her, she would be insulted. You got to make sure you deliver on the big gift.
Yeah, but if you just gave her a washing machine, she's like, oh, this is awesome.
That's it. Oh, yeah, this is great. The dishes are cleaner now. That's great. Now, James, do your job and load it and unload it.
I think that's the best way the way you described it, I think is exactly right. Yeah, so that is everything coming in update 8.0. What has you most hyped? Professor X, Deathpool's costume, maybe red dots going away. What has you the most hyped for update 8.0, Dorky?
You know what? I didn't even realize it was 8.0. So this call we had, this little hangout that we had, got me excited about the prospect of BattleWorld. I forgot about BattleWorld. I'm super excited for BattleWorld. It's back on my radar now. That's what I hope comes out within the next few months. I am really excited.
You know, I actually forgot about it as well until we were talking as well. So yes, it wasn't on any of the notes, guys, that I said it didn't have it. So yes, I'm excited for BattleWorld as well. Hopefully it comes sooner rather than later. But yeah, we don't know when it's coming. But hopefully this video did provide you some value of what is coming up over the next few weeks in Marvel Strike Force. And if you did get some value, leave it a like. It is free for you and it helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to see what to do to beat everything in Arena right now, check the video out up there and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Are you ready for a fist bump, brother Dorky?
I've been prepping. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin, DorkyDad out. Have a great rest of your day, guys.